stage right here with us. The Sky Kings return to the MSC stage with one goal in mind. Reclaim what was once theirs with the addition of the gold standard in the team. Will it be a W in the bag or does another surprise await us today?
I would not knock down the opportunity of a surprise today. Let's welcome their opponents, Entity 7! They skipped the first 6 and on to the 7th. The inaugural MCT Americas champions have hit the MSC 26 stage. A mixture of the best South America has to offer. 4 nations, 5 players, and a whole lot of disruptive aggression. Will the return to the international stage keep the upset trend we've had today? That is the question on everybody's mind.
You are right, Milosh. There's only one way to know if today will end in a chaos. Lads, boys, you may place your keys and take your seats. And of course, to our captains, don't forget your little handshake or a fist bump. You know what, Milosh? This game is honestly so exciting because of the amount of upsets and surprises that we've had today.
We've had a lot of them. We've had 9-minute games against TL before, but we got more to bring you. Onic take on Entity 7. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Milos Rose. Who won that rock, paper, scissors match and that handshake?
Okay, listen.
That was the fastest rock, paper, scissors match I've ever seen.
There is a positive to take out of that, right?
Yeah.
The worse you are at social interactions, the better you are in game.
Yeah,
all right? So
I believe
they're
that.
pretty good.
I believe that wholeheartedly as well. One of the great things about this setup here is we just get to see the unexpected again and again. We've seen it 2 series in a row. We now have a chance for Entity 7 and Onic to go toe-to-toe. And of course, if you want to check out 2 champions and 1 game, you can check out the My Champions pick. Pick your dual champions, win 50,000 diamonds. Scan the QR code. We'll have 5 winners with 10,000 diamonds each, so make sure to check it out. Maybe you will end up with the Grand Diamond prize, available and live until July 27th in just a few days. So make sure to check it out and join up. All right, Mirko, before the draft, what's the vibe here in the building? Is it that like upset feeling that we've got going on through everybody watching?
I think it's exactly that, man.
Yeah.
After seeing back-to-back crazy upsets, you know, one better than the other, you have that feeling. I think it's in the air right now. It's in the atmosphere of the arena. I think the fans are feeling it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Entity 7, they walked up with crazy aura as well. They've got the confidence. Seeing the 2 upsets, I think they're going to be bringing up something special too. I think they have a lot of things cooked up.
Yeah, they have to. Previously, teams from Latin America have explained in international tournaments they want to play a little bit more or so much closer to the Southeast Asian teams, or the Southeast Asian teams being put on a pedestal. But if there's any moment to tell your team, hey, maybe it's time for us to look into ourselves again and remind ourselves of what we can do uniquely. What does our region do uniquely? Then bring that. It seems like this MSC, you are definitely rewarded for playing your own style, playing your own game. And it wasn't just even during MSC, even in MWI we saw that.
Exactly, you know, sticking to your identity, really bringing out your strengths, right? And keeping your weaknesses all hidden. And I think for Onic, that's a very good approach as well. I think for the longest time, a lot of the criticism sent to Onic would be they're a bit too sporadic. They go a little bit too improv in the drafts. If you look at CW and Yeb, none of them bring notes up on stage. So they're very improv, which is great in this meta. So we'll see what they can cook up as well.
It seems like there was also, from Rose's side, just speaking of him picking up the Rafaela, like, you know, this looked like I was given an opportunity to play it. And that type of adaptability and comfort with a wide range of heroes is going to make a difference in this meta that is, would you say, Renmar, it's fair to say that it's still kind of being found out here?
Yeah, I think we're getting close to hitting the ceiling of the meta, but I would say maybe 3 or 4 more picks that we haven't seen yet that might pop up. My personal favorite is I would want to see the Martes somewhere, whether as a jungle pick or as a unique pick in the mid lane. And we do have precedence with that from MSC 2 years ago, brought out by Team NIP Flash, and they were able to make it work then. So I think there's still enough room, but we're just about to level out, especially with the rise of Barretts and the EXP lane brought out by Team Spirit and Aurora.
That's true. That character, hero, doing a lot to help round out this squad. But Paquito in the gold lane, going into
That too, yeah.
fighter-heavy composition, surprising people, going, well, we need some more range here. We need something. How are we going to pressure? But when you win the game so fast, the pressure's already there, Mirko.
Yeah, it almost seems like the siege, like the question marks on how are you going to siege with no marksman, how are you going to siege with no range, has just been thrown out of the window, right?
Yeah.
It's all about fighting. It's all about building those early leads and taking those skirmishes to your opponents, right? Both teams equally as aggressive. So it just comes down to who's better on the assassins. Entity 7 with the same approach as TLPH in Game 1 against Aurora Turkey. It was the Fanny and the Ling Band straight up.
Yeah, but we do know that we still have the Hirara available and will be a point of contention. I see Freya available as well, depending if Entity 7 will ban out the Phoveus or not. So I think we're still going to go into the similar priorities. They ban out the Claude, so they really look at Kyrie and Kelra and said, all right, we're going to take out some of your comforts. I feel like the Claude might have been too much.
Yeah, I agree. If they go for the Hirara first pick, though, this leaves Entity 7 with a very good approach, going for the Eudora straight up for the
that's new.
Marcel.
Oh, yeah.
First time
That's right.
that it's been left open, I believe, yeah? It's always been banned out. The Harith Prio is quite interesting.
Yeah, I feel like this is Entity 7 looking at Onyx comforts and going, yeah, we're just going to pluck them away from you, which might lean towards the dangerous territory that I don't want them to go into, which is to look too much into Onic and try to deny. Hopefully, this still leans towards their playstyle. I mean, we look at Doom, we look at how he likes to play in the gold lane, and so far, this is a little bit more akin to just a few months back, a meta from 2 to 3 months ago, where if the Phoveus is available, you pick it up. You don't have to worry about the Freya showing up here because it's going to be up against the Phoveus, but who knows? Maybe Onic might put that up in the gold lane. I don't know anymore. What is this meta? What year is it?
Atlas, Valentina, Esmeralda band on the side of Onic. And you saw the Claude, Ling, and the Fanny taken away. The Hirara picked up for Onic. We've seen her have such an impact. I mean, it's scary to go up against.
I'm wondering now if it's going to be the Hirara combo down with the Eudora, because this combination should be very, very scary. Anybody that walks up is going to get completely bursted, and the fact, there you go, is the Eudora. The fact that they picked up the Harith after seeing the Marcel means that they are very confident they can stop the Marcel from getting a golden hour on the Harith, right? Because like at this point, I think we've gotten accustomed to Marcel's really wreaking havoc to a Harith composition, just like the lane does
100%. Yeah, it's always really tough for a Harith to deal with it. They get an Eve. This really is very throwback to just 2 to 3 months ago. Mixing it up, definitely. Onic is going a little bit more for what we're used to with this current metagame, while for Entity 7 throwing it back. Maybe their last 2 picks, I think it has to be something a little bit newer, because if they lean a little bit too much into what worked 2 to 3 months ago, it's a little bit outdated.
Well, that's the question. Group B going back into these first 2 series have seen surprise after surprise today. It wouldn't surprise us now if we see something different and interesting. These are the picks that have kind of thrown a wrench into the plans. But you know what they say, the best and the most well-laid plans.
I wonder if CW would be... not CW, excuse me. Lutfi, there we go. Lutfi would be up to play his one of his iconic heroes in the Lapu Lapu, who does it really well. Against Harith, up against the Phoveus, you get the dive against the Eve. You get the strong crowd control, the damage. Should be good.
There's something better that I think Entity 7 needs to ban out. The Esmeralda is still up against the Harith, against the Phoveus. Oh my.
First ban by Onic.
I'm blind, bro. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not caffeinated enough.
We're not used to seeing it on that side.
Yeah, that early on. The instant shit. All right, so what about the Uranus, right? We saw the Uranus earlier find a lot of success in game number 1.
Yeah, and they banned it out. So, yeah.
Stop it, Entity. Calm down, man.
But you could tell you're like mirroring that conversation, though.
Yeah.
It's like, what about this? Oh, no, let's take that out.
Yeah.
So now where did it go?
I still think the Lapu...
I think Lapu works if it is a utility jungle that Entity 7 will be picking up. I think the Glue is a very good shout as well for XP.
Yeah. So if ever that's the case, then maybe Entity 7 would like to hold on to their jungle pick for last. You pick up their Roamer at red 4, just so that Onic would toss a coin whether or not they will be going up against a utility jungle or not. But then with the damage up of an Eva Harith, I think Assassin would be okay because they need a little bit more physical. Too much magic damage and Radiant Armor, Athena Shields, those are your main opponents.
There you go.
They take out the Nolan too.
Yeah, no Assassins available right now. If they want to go Assassin, it has to be one that's unorthodox, something that's very different. And every other Assassin should find... Oh, I'm not a fan of the Suyo pick.
Me neither. Seems like it's going to be really tough to make this work, especially with the presence of the Eudora around. The fact that Hirara can save herself from getting comboed by the Suyo. This, again, screams 2 to 3 months ago.
So even more reason to pick up the glue now if you're Onic, right?
Yeah.
Then you round up the draft with a gold laner. I think the Moskov is a solid option to go for. If they want to play strong side, I'd say, nah, I think just the Moskov.
Yeah.
Moskov's just safe.
Yeah, Moscow's good. You know you're up against the Eve. You can approach it from all angles. But here we go, Onic.
Baratz is back.
He's back up. That's going to be going to the EXP. So Hirara isn't that much of a basic attack hero. So I think,
And Granger.
Ranger, that's interesting. I thought they'd go for something with harder basic attack, but I think they're very happy. They just want to get that Granger and the Marcel combo together. I mean, they couldn't have gone so wrong with the pick. It's not a bad pick.
Is there something that stops it right now, or do they need to pick that up still on Entity 7's side?
Right now, I don't really see anything that can really stop this kind of composition.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, I mean, the standard choice would just be the Beleric in Rome.
He has been pretty dominant so far, I will say, as a hero today. Won most of his games, although did lose that last one that it was stolen away on the side of Aurora Gaming by Team Liquid.
It wouldn't even be too crazy to go Gato Kacha, I'd say, as well, but they go for the chip. Whoa.
All right.
Adding to the unique hero pool seen so far. I think they added 2 or 3.
Yeah, what the heck? All right, we're just seeing surprises. The Granger, I get. You're playing strong side. The chip here is like, it's great, but it will always be dictated by your first ult. If your first ult goes bad, that's GG.
Yeah, and also the question is, which one's going to hold the Piercer for Onic? Yeah, usually you don't want to see 2 Piercer holders together. I think they're just confident enough to just plop it onto the Hirara, and then the Granger's just going to be peppering everyone from afar anyway. You have some strong frontliners with very decent damage, so they have a good damage spread. All right, let's see if Entity 7 can play the map here, because team fighting might be difficult.
All right, 92% of you think Onic is going to take this one over Entity 7. Still think so after the draft? We'll find out who was right as we head over to our casters to kick off Game 1 of our 3rd series of the day.
This 3rd series is going to be real interesting. Looking at the way this draft is going to play out, it feels like there's answers on both sides. The real question and the real test is when they hit the Land of Dawn. First interaction, how are they going to play this out nicely? Because the way that I see it, Chip has already figured out the starting point of the enemy jungler. The same can be said for Onic's side. And Entity 7, like Mirko said, it's that first portal that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, the Chip is in a... it's just in a weird place right now, I feel like. I almost thought they'd just go with the Beleric. That's not the case, but, you know, whoa, already taking a lot of damage early on. Oh, the flicker used from Sans. First blood already going to Onic to start things off.
Oh man, that was a mistake for sure. Again, they're just forgetting the Eudora, especially with Superconductor, has reduced Fork Lightning cooldowns, especially when it is empowered here by the same marked target. However, same problems are still going to last. At least Shin didn't lose too much in his lane, but the rest of them, right? Now they have the information. Kyrie is having the time of his life stealing away camps.
Yeah, this is something that they can continue to do. Going back on the Chip pick, we'll have to see if they can utilize this. The shortcuts, the portals, like you mentioned. Again, you don't see him picked up too often. It's him and usually the Luo Yi that can play that macro level kind of style of gameplay. And Chip, if utilized correctly, can do a whole lot here. But with a Marcel in this setup in the mid lane, that's what they're going to go for anyway. Sans, there's some revenge. Bagwin also able to get a kill now for himself. So, hey, good for Entity 7 to get things going.
Really good. And more importantly, this is the fact that Itembush understands that, hey, despite not being level 4, it doesn't mean that I can't actually kill you in the lane if I catch you off guard. Especially since Sans very visibly used this flicker in the lane. Now, Kelra kind of out of the fight for now, but he wasn't going to participate in the upcoming turtle anyways.
Yeah, this is one of the things, too. The Granger only picked a couple times so far, you know, and this is going to the hands of Kelra. Obviously, very comfortable on this hero, can make it work, but, you know, I think that's the main thing, too. You know, the decision between who gets the Sky Piercer, most likely, as the panel mentioned, Hirara here, you know, you got to protect still Kelra on the Granger. He's got the range to work with, and yeah, I kind of agreed, maybe a little bit stronger of an audio attacker here, where he's got to rely on the Rhapsody shots, but it's all about positioning, and we've seen it before from Kelra. First turtle up, though, that's already going to get started down. RWM drop down, Loot be gone, and now Akashi going to get shredded through here, so a bit of a trade. Turtle still up, Keyboy. almost level 4. We'll have that golden hour available now. They can play around this Sans. Going forward with a flicker. There's the damage we were looking for again as Kairi picks up a kill for himself.
Great coordination from the mid trio here. Great showing, and more importantly, they understand that Banggood, he's about to get level 4, so there's no point risking it, even though Kairi does have a level lead on to Hide on Bush. At this stage of the game, right, we're thinking about lane advantages, and from top side, we're probably not going to see much go on. It's a sandbag on that side. Kelra, he's got to be really careful. As long as that flicker is down, if he pushes himself too far forward, if Doom gets a Zaman Force directly on top of him, he can kill him in that lane, so he's got to be careful for that.
What I want to see from Entity 7 here is just playing around their strengths, which is really, you know, real-world manipulation. We've seen this so much with the Eve pickups. Kairi sees, he's like, hide on bush, I see you in that bush, I'm going to go for this anyway. A lot of damage coming through. Alley-ooping it over to Sans as he's able to cap off the kill. Get out of my jungle, says Kairi.
Yeah, the problem is that once you see the stun be thrown out, he has no way to kind of, you know, close the get out with any iframes at that point. Kelra now getting an early Sky Piercer is great. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to participate in the very first fight here. Because so far, Sans has kind of given the layup over to Kairi. At some point, it's got to go over to Kelra.
Yeah, eventually, but the strengths, man, and this is why the Eudora is so just a top priority pick right now. You're seeing it in action in the early game to be able to set things up in this manner and also kind of supplement a jungler like the Hirara in the hands of Kairi is something that you can make work so well from the early game all the way to the late game. And now this turtle finally going to be started up here. It's been delayed pretty much out. They're going to go for another kill. Akashi once again shredded through. A golden hour is going to drop down. Now Kelra's a part of the fight. He wants to get the stacks he's looking for. Doom's got to defensively Zaman Force out. There's another kill for Onic. And they'll finally make their way for this turtle here. Shin's got no option but to back off. There is a push in the mid though, at least for something for Entity 7.
How much damage did he actually get onto that mid-tier 1? No, just the plating. The plating is good enough. That's still a little bit of money. He's going to lose a decent amount in his own jungle as Kelra decides, you know what? I ain't wasting no time whatsoever. Give me the gold on that top side before the shielding time's out.
You're seeing it right there, Gideon. That's just how scary that amount of damage can be, that a flicker is burned out from Shin. Just because, again, that snapshot, that interaction with the stun, and as they go into the jungle again, E7, no room to breathe, even on their own side, as Kelra will pick up another stack.
There's just so much CC to deal with, and nobody can really stop Keyboy from what he's doing. He's able to run through every single member of the side of E7, and until we see a full commitment, there's just no point. And now they're losing mid-tier 1, which is a pivotal point in the map.
Golden hour, drop down, Kelra lining up the shots, and it's right lined up for Shin, and out in the mid lane. Daytona's welcome into the team. They landed on through. Luffy's gone, but E7 looking to fight back down, running it for Sans. He's gonna have to burn the flicker. The re-engage comes through. Snapshots are there. Oh, Bagwin, 1 HP. He'll get back to base. Could have been way worse for Entity 7 there.
Way worse, for sure. But man, let's look at the goal difference here, because somehow Kelra has been more effective in these team fights in comparison to Doom, who's been struggling again because of that golden hour. Let's let this replay one more time, right? Golden hour catches onto 2 members. They line up the shots perfectly, but by the time Akashi actually gets into the middle of this fight, they kind of don't have enough damage, right? You can see that Doom, unfortunately, tries to get this kill onto Keyboard, but they still have plenty of battle spells. So the innate impact that we see from Onic is just too much to handle, and Doom ain't gonna waste a free Purify just to get out of a golden hour or walk around it.
Yeah, for E7, they want to go ahead and start letting, you know, Doom scale up. This is what we see with Harith, right? Eventually, you're able to do a whole lot with that Zaman Force. They just really haven't been able to have that upper hand fight against, you know, this lineup that Onic has. A big component to that, again, the golden hour. I'm surprised, you know, Marcel, we haven't seen him pop up as much, especially back, you know, wildcard and then even in MWI. And it's like, he's still so useful with that golden hour alone. But even Chip can do something similar. A little bit of stun here on Keyboy. This fight for this turtle, though, to see if anyone's actually able to secure it. Hide on Bush will just now pick up that Sky Piercer, though.
I'm not sure if that's even going to get any value this time around. Considering what's about to happen, Hide on Bush gets caught out just like that. I mean, these interceptions, they can't... Wait, hold on.
Oh, they're just going for it. Another stack for Kelra. Akashi could be next. Infernal Pursuit, but there's a double now for this Granger for Kelra. Stacks on stacks, and that's going to be a turret and just another objective.
That's a huge miscommunication for the side of Entity 7. Onic now going to take full advantage of this as Kelra now leading the charge by himself with the rest of his team to say, you know what? We're going to take everything. What are you going to do? Chase us? Doom trying, but he's not going to catch up to Keyboy anytime soon.
Yeah, you're not going to catch a Marcel like that, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. That was clearly a mistake, a misstep there for E7 to be on that side, to lose their jungler, but you know, the punishment also is just more turrets, more space. Even in that replay, it just happened so quickly, and then you get collapsed on. And if you line yourselves up like this for E7, you know, you're trying to keep things from getting too worse. It's just, Onic does such a great job at giving those stacks over to Kelra too. They know that that's a big part of these team fights now. I mean, look at the health bars. They're just dropping as they try to get to the base. They try to get away, but Vagwin's down, and now Akashi gets blown up as well from the shots from Kelra.
He didn't want to use his flicker either. Again, I feel like E7, they understand that their battle spells are like so key to their composition, but at the same time, they're not using it to save themselves. Now we have a 13-3 lead, a 5.7k lead at 8 minutes into the game, which is not, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty devastating on top of the fact that Kelra is almost max stacks at this stage of the game on his Sky Piercer.
Yeah. Keyboy and Sans both just doing an amazing job throughout this game too to set things up. Look at the difference here now in the mid lane. They're actually able to get Ludwig, Keyboy, and Sans. Do they want to fight this? I know they got Kelra there, but still, you don't want to get overzealous and get punished here. You got a 6,000 gold lead if you're Onic. You want to keep that together for this Lord here in about 30.
First items priority. I like how Ludwig is like, no, I'm not going to think about sustain whatsoever. All I'm thinking about is maintaining my stacks, get me a Guardian helmet, and yeah, I'll make something happen. He is a thick boy for a good reason, but also such a huge deterrent for E7. Like, what are they going to do as soon as he starts charging up the Daytona's welcome, right? On the opposite side, I do want to see whether or not E7, specifically Vagwin, he needs to get a backline attack onto Kelra.
Yeah, I feel like he's been trying, you know, like he's been trying to find that positioning, but there just hasn't been that opening that they're looking for. And now at this point, it looks like E7's just gonna have to give this Lord over to Onic, let them do their things. Akashi's gonna give the information. There's quite a few here. They're trying to push up top too, but Lord already secured by Kyrie. Vagwin gone. I mean, this is just not where you want to be, and now Daytona's welcome to keep Akashi in place. Line it up again for Kelra to get a double again. And E7, it's looking really dire here in game one.
I think this game is almost over. Onic is in a point where their snowball is a little too big, and they're purposely delaying hide on Bush. He will not be able to get with the rest of his team, and now his death timer is staggered.
Yep. Already base turret's going to be worked on. Doom trying to drop it down with his Almond Force, but still just delaying possibly the inevitable here. Almost a 9,000 gold lead as Lord is going to approach this mid turret. The defense shield's still going to pop, but the Lord is still up, and now the pressure's here. 15 still, 4 hide on Oak Bush to be up. They're going to drop it down once again. Ludwig, Daytona's welcome. Throw him into the wall. Kyrie, meanwhile, on the other side's working. Burns a flicker out. Akashi, no chance. And now looking to take out Doom as well. He's trying to avoid the shots from Kelra, but he can't avoid Kyrie. And they're looking for more. Finally, Kelra goes down, but Kyrie's here as well. It's a different KK connection. It's a maniac for Kyrie. And that's all Onic needed in this game one. Under 12 minutes, they'll cap out game one against Entity 7.
21-6 the final score, and they're gonna farm one more before they close out the very first.
Back on the studio and here on the stage for a draft. Game number 2 between Onic and Entity 7. It was tough for Entity 7 to say the least, as Onic stomped right through them, through their Marcel, and of course, that Granger picked up by Kelra. Redmar and Mirko here, still talking to you over the draft. Okay, I think we can go back to maybe the first set of bans here for E7. I feel like that Claude ban was way too much.
I feel like everything was a bit too much, Redmar, right? Because we have to take into account that, for me at least, looking at those drafts, Entity 7 were coming into game number 1, not trying to win, but trying not to lose, right? Because usually you would ban Fanny and Ling, and you would pick up a jungler in the first phase, knowing, okay, they went up on the Hirara, it's going to be closed out later on in the second phase for sure, but they didn't put enough respect onto the Hirara. They didn't even put any respect into the jungle.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, they even let go of the Eudora, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, it's almost like a guarantee, especially against a team like Onic, that they want to go on Assassin. So you need to try to take that very good combo with an assassin, aka also a counter to the assassin in the Eudora.
Yeah, that's why looking at the draft for Entity 7 earlier, it felt reactive in the sense that realizing their first 3 picks felt like some of Onic's greatest hits. They took away the Harith, they took away the Phobias, they took away the Eve. All of that are just screaming Onic's greatest hits. It felt like the most proactive pick that they went for was actually the last pick, Chip. Though in the big picture, it did end up having difficulty with the team fighting being kind of awkward around the golden hour of the Marcel. It just didn't work out for them. So now at least they switch up the sides and they ban out the Fanny, they ban out the Valentina. I think, with Onic banning out the Atlas, they don't have the Atlas access anymore. Phovis is still open. Freya might not be the best pick. Would it be too much if they just rush to the Hirara right now?
I think it's a bit too much again because, there you go.
That's better.
I really like the Eudora, right? If you want to go up against Assassins, if you want to pick up an Assassin as well, the Eudora should be it. And now we're seeing it, kind of escalated in Prio. Love it. Yep. But now for Onic, I don't think they need to pick up an Assassin right now. They just go for, what are the other picks? The Belric's gone, Atlas is gone, Marcel's also gone. They go for the Cho, all right, straight up to Rome, a comfort for Keyboy.
Yeah. And honestly, looking at the other picks from today, I felt like the Cho might be something teams might want to revisit as a priority, considering that there was one draft earlier in TL versus Aurora where the Cho would have looked perfect, but then it got banned away. So Onic now, they're being proactive. They pick up the Cho, they still end up with the Hirara for Kyrie, and now why not go ahead put up a Ling, because there's a risk it might get kicked away. But I feel like you have to take that risk. Consider the Ling, so at least you get the Assassin versus Assassin, and if you cannot play in the objective fights, at least you play the map.
And this is why, for me, I think it would have been better for Entity 7 to stay on red side. It's okay being the team to respond over with the picks. It's just you need to take these prio picks away, right? Marcel, first pick for Onic in game number 1. That should have been the Eudora Hirara instantly for Entity 7. Now, there's so many picks up for grabs. Even if they get another, let's say they go for a gold lane, even an XP lane and a Paquito, then Esmeralda just shows up for Onic. There's so many ways to respond it over, and they pick the Harley into a Cho. Onic, again, they know that this Cho will be good against anybody, against the Ling, against the Harley, and now as the Harley got the Kacha, I honestly feel like the Esmeralda or the Uranus will show up. There you go, those tanky, sustainable XP lanes. Great for Lutpi.
Yeah, and now Team Entity 7 need to watch out, just constant invades, and even if it's not invades, just vision provided by the Uranus, leaving the EXP lane, showing up, messing you up, and just feeding all the information that Onic needs. I feel like this Harley, at the end of the day, was just like, Coach, you know what? I'm feeling more Harley this time around. Maybe not the Ling. We saw Hide on Bush use it a lot during their last Amber season anyway, so that is screaming comfort. But Romid Trio, all magic. They need some physical damage in here through the EXP and the gold lane.
And that's where it'll get very difficult, right? I feel like for Onic right now, they should be comfortable playing one of those unorthodox gold laners, something of a strong side here. They ban out the Dairoth, so interesting. I guess they're thinking Entity 7, because they might not be able to get a gold lane with physical damage, that they'll look to try to put the physical damage into XP. That's why they go for the Dairoth ban, but there you go. The Eve gets taken out as well. Not too big of a fan of that, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's because they're considering setting up for a carry pick. That's the only reason why they'd want to ban out the Eve right now. Not too big of a fan of that either,
right? Because the Brody is what I'm thinking about for Onic.
Yeah. Oh, for Onic?
Yeah, because I think they are trying to get, I think they're reading into the carry pick for Entity 7.
Yeah.
With the Eve ban as well, so I think they might just be going for Brody.
All right, let's see if Entity 7 reads it.
Sora ban as well.
Ban out the Keller hero now. Ban out that Brody. Might be the best call for Entity 7. And if it's not the Brody, at this point, it's a plug and play, honestly. I think we've said that a lot for Onic, especially in MPLID. A lot of times, a lot of picks, you could just plug and play anything, and they'll find a way to make it work.
With the Cho and the Hirara, with the Uranus as well, all of them can chase the Harley. I don't really even think that the Harley can make it to the backline of Onic, so I wouldn't even be too surprised if Onic go for even like something as crazy as a Farsa even up against these Assassins, because again, Jusin banned, Eve banned, they've taken away a lot of the safer choices in mid. The next best thing would probably be a Lilia if you're thinking safety. I think Onic aren't thinking about safe. I think they're thinking about dominating.
Yeah, if you want domination, of course, you still have the option of Sans to suddenly show up with the Kadita, get that Petrify up, hardcore pick-off combo with that Cho, and instantly, if you delete the door, you delete someone. But they don't want to. They want to go. They don't want to go for that. It's fine.
Safe.
Safety's good. Safety's good. Lily is great.
And as expected, The Brody smells really good right now. It's looking really good. If NTD7 pick up a Claude, Moskov, or Carry, I think it's an insta-Brody, right?
Yep.
XP, they need something. They need something to deal with this. Now, what is it? Paquito against the Uranus.
All right, pretty much.
Unless this is gold, and then they like pick another guy. in
Surprise EXP, yeah. I mean, after all of this, the Esmeralda's still open. But then it's really just the Uranus. You dead lane that. Unless Akashi is feeling something else. I mean, I wouldn't even want to consider. Maybe if you really want to reach the Brody, you go crazy with it. You put the Paquito in gold and you pick up something like a Bene. At least you have some form of dive and access. But oh, wait, no, yeah, it's Brodyable.
But Brody.
Now's the
Should be a
time.
Brody.
Yeah.
If it's not Brody, safe choice would be Moskov, but after seeing the Granger, Kelra ain't about that safe game, bro.
Yeah, we thought Granger has pretty much just bowed out of the meta. He pops up here and there, not always the best results, but he made it work last time. Pretty sure Brody, he'll be able to make it work as well. But Entity 7, they said they wanted to be aggressive. You know, aggro looks good for them. They have a lot of dive.
That's true. Now, hear me out. Beatrix with a Cho.
Yes.
Pull up that skin, Kelra. We know it's in you, bro.
Yeah.
And speaking of, Naisu did bring up, it's the KK combo just a bit different. I feel like in the drafts as well, it's very much like that M6 Onic Philippines composition. The Brody gets locked in. We read that out quite early. And this was actually a pick that got them one of their only games. Their only game actually in the grand finals against Vitality.
Oh yeah, they picked that up quite early on in the series. And now here it shows up in MSC. There is precedence for it. Super Marco and Team Falcons PH picked it up. Entity 7 seems like they weren't ready for the Brody pick, or were they? Maybe this very high aggro, high damage, all dive, potentially fast tempo lineup that the South Americans, the players from Latin America are known for, will be able to force a Game 3 for this series. We're gonna bow out for now as we head into game number 2, tossing it back on over to Guidon Bush. Sorry, that's Gideon and Naisu.
Thanks,
The enemy reaches the back.
Reptar. It's a great day to be here for Series 3, but also this
Deployed.
for Onic because they're looking for the opportunities, but it's about that snowball.
Yeah.
They have to play through strong side, which they start at level 1.
They want to build the snowball right now.
Ouch.
Okay, Revitalize is burnt. I think they're happy with that, but that's going to be tough for E7 because this is always what we see. Early game pressure in the mid lane, trading out some battle spells. And so you don't have that Revitalize. It's nothing too crazy, but obviously it's going to kind of change your game plan here. Let's take a quick look at the emblems for now.
Yep, so far the emblems is going to be Master Assassin, no exit.
Oh,
no shit.
hold on,
in
shit.
trouble.
Oh. You don't get a chance.
You got, it's one of those moments where it's just like, yeah, you already, the level 1 got messed up.
Yeah.
So you probably shouldn't be the one opening up the bush as well, or maybe using the Forked Lightning as a means to open, but the same can be said about Agwin, right? You just gonna have to just open up the map somehow.
Yep.
Look at the control, the tempo already. Oh, the sidestep from T-Boy.
Oh, look at the pressure actually. Hide on Bush. Again, nowhere to go. Double for Keyboy 3-0 on this Cho. That's a Roam Cho, by the way.
By the way, Kyrie's already level 4, like nearly before the minute even started. Like this is a ridiculous start for Onic developing a 1.6k lead less than 2 minutes into this game. And what sucks about it is that Hidon Bush has no camps to actually take. And then he goes up to the EXP. Guess what? No crab there. I gotta go invade. And Keyboy, he's sniffing it out.
What it feels like is a Harley with no magic right now, man. Like he's starved out. You're seeing it. Keyboy is enough pressure. Okay, at least there's a caveat there. Our kill going to the hands of Shin. So a little bit of an overstep probably from Sans there. He did burn his flicker in that, but still, man, this is one of those cases where you give up this first turtle. You don't really want to maybe contest this just because of the fact that Hidon Bush has already been delayed enough. If he's delayed further, then we've seen that before be the case.
Yeah, and honestly, nobody wants to fall behind, especially since Keyboy wants to maintain that passive from his roaming boots. In the meantime, though, I'm looking down on bot side, and Doom is also having a pretty tough time against Keller, who's got an amazing freeze by his tower.
All right, as we expected, Turtle just gonna go in the hands here of Onic. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the map, a little bit of trading going on there. Keyboy will be able to go ahead and take it. He's almost got the flicker available, and now that he's got the kick, he's got that Way of the Dragon. He's going to continue to be a nuisance there in the jungle. Up on this top side where Kyrie is, though. keeping tabs on him. Good protection, though, coming out from E7. They need to do this. They need to get these guys out of their side of the jungle, and they'll do that behind on Bush. Once again, Kyrie, level 7 goes through. Good thing, Hide on Bush able to get his purple buff.
And great rotation here coming in from Kyrie as well. He's not going back up towards that top side. He just completely decided, you know what, we're going to cut through that mid lane. We're expecting Akashi to actually start participating in these fights, and now they're back on the invade.
Doom's only level 3. Oh no, it gets worse. Shin going down here. The fight for the orange. Hide on Bush won't be able to get that one. And man, someone's got to help Doom here. I just realized, yeah, he's only this level 3 at this point, and Kyrie level 8, man.
This is ridiculous. Like, Kelra has got a permanent freeze here. What is he supposed to do? Like, well, they need Vagrant to actually come down and break this freeze, or literally anybody to break this freeze. It's, oh no, he's dead.
No, Doom. Okay, BMI, but torn apart memory, okay.
Oh, okay, not bad.
Not enough marks.
Not enough marks. The Purify came in just in time.
Oh, but Keyboy's here. Rest of the team, too. They know this. He's going to go ahead and get some regen on, but pop the blaze into it. There's Keyboy. Goes in with a kick. Not the target he was probably looking for, so he kicks Shin. Doom does go down, though. Revitalize to help. Meanwhile, Kyrie gets a kill across the map against the Kashi. But Onic will continue to build up. Gideon, I don't think we've seen this kind of a lead at the 4-minute mark.
Right now, the game is up to Onic. Like, if Onic whiff anything, if they give a shutdown over to E7, maybe there's an opportunity. But if they play just a standard game of constant invades and just using their capital lead that they have, their economic lead, there's just nothing they can do. I mean, I'm looking at this replay and it's just like, what's the point, right? The dive wasn't the cleanest dive, yet it doesn't matter when your base stats are just way higher than your opponents.
Yeah, you can see that too, and the reaction there from Keyboy, obviously. In that too, he picked up the Radiant Armor, so now he can be more durable, you know, against these magic damage dealers that ND7 has. And that's all part of the plan of not letting that lead that they built up already so quickly slip out. And this is the thing, another turtle's just gonna go over to Onic. There's no contest here. So when it's this case, when we have to think of Entity 7's chances of turning the game over on this head, you know, with this kind of landslide right now for Onic, where is that going to be? Who is going to be that person? You know, because Doom, you'd think it'd be the Claude, but my goodness, he was delayed so much, frozen out of his lane.
Yeah, it's a... Honestly, I think this is a prisoner's dilemma already. It's like asking a mother who's their favorite child. It's you gotta pick one, unfortunately, and right now it's not Doom. That's what I could say. Oh no.
Oh, Kashi. Where's the Keyboy under the turret? There's the kick right in between both. They don't care. They'll get a kill. There's the stunt loot beat. Kyrie with a retribution, gonna chase down Shin. Shin able to get away though, but that's just a preview of how much Onic can take from Entity 7 as a turret is pushed now in the bottom lane. Tier 2, Doom, nowhere to go. Popping the Purify. Has to stay alive at all costs, but Kyrie's here. All the iframes to work with, and a torn apart memory from Kelra will cap out another kill.
Make it stop. This is a public execution here from Onic. They are not letting up, and they want to make sure that it is known you can't play anything less than perfect.
Couple shots here. All right, flicker burn, at least for Sans. But still, so much work for Entity 7 to deal with that they just have to watch the Tier 2 turret go down nearly here in that bottom lane. It's just Onic doesn't have anything else to take, so they'll just keep pressing on these turrets.
You know, I've watched a lot of games in my career, but never one where I've been so confident that this game is kind of over already.
Yeah.
It's an 8.4K lead 6 minutes into the game, and these positions are literally impossible to get out of unless Onic all decide to like run at Fountain or something like that. But it's very unlikely. Once you're at a stage where you're already an item and a component ahead of your opponent, it becomes very difficult to actually claw your way back out of this, especially since a lot of the combinations are very single target rather than hitting multiple people. Yeah. And that's the big difference between E7 and Team Liquid's composition. Even though Team Liquid was losing massively at that point in time, the comeback ability comes down to the 5 wombo combo, which they don't have.
Yeah, and what you're seeing here too, you know, there's a phrase over in the Philippines that's used quite a bit. It's called Hunger Games. You hear the professional players say it, where they take everything from the jungle, pretty much. Akashi, they'll take him as well. They're going to be looking for Doom next. Doom will be able to get away with the BMI, but now Vagwin trying to run himself away, but it's just way too much as another goes down for E7, and Onic will shortly be knocking on these holy defense shields already this early on.
Yeah, look, they just sit in base. Yep, he's already holding on to 2 waves, because what are they gonna do? Like, no DHS? All right, that's fine. Max stacks on Uranus. He's gonna regenerate harder than everybody put together.
Yeah, this is just, at that point, Lutby just pressing on the wounds for this one.
He's gonna walk into target just to restart the stacks. Yep,
restart the stacks. Another wave coming through mid. Tier 1 gone, Tier 2 next. They still hold on to the shields, but Entity 7, again, look at this, the glooms. A couple glooms bringing Doom down to a third of his health.
Dude, Lutby, I hate, especially when you're playing Uranus at a high level.
Just look at him.
And you have such a lead, he just becomes like the solar system's behind here. Just a dirty little man. Look at him. What are you gonna do? Huh? He still has his ult. And then he punts on up and he does nothing. He's just literally face checking them.
This is only possible when you're 13,000 gold ahead as a team. Bagwin desperately jumping in with the Avatar of the Guardian, but he's just gonna go to his death. Luffy still in the base. He hasn't moved at all. A flicker forward from Sans, trying to get the kill. Another defense shield popped, but look, Luffy still not moving from this. He's his own just bulwark for this team. He does burn the flicker. There you go. Finally, Entity 7. They're done with the disrespect.
I'm sure hoping that Onic isn't trying to farm the numbers here, because it's looking very, very good so far. Oh, Calamity Reaper going on right on Bush. Kind of interesting what he's going for here. Wants to make sure that he has a little bit of true damage on top of everything else, but I think right now he kind of needs to sustain. Not to mention that Kelra has been playing literally pixel perfect as well, making sure that he isn't missing a beat. Catching up and cleaning out the majority of these kills, but now that we're coming into the 9th minute of the game, Onic, this is it, right? No holy shielding on every single side of Entity 7's base. They're going to be able to get this. Zipper, could you pull up the items just in case? I don't want to be wrong about this, but I think that Doom should be like an item and a half. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it hurts.
Uh-oh, it's gonna hurt more here. Sans does take some damage. He's got the black shoes. He's gonna be fine. A little jump there on the defense. They're gonna get run down in their jungle, so ignoring the Lord for now. They'll just take a buff, make their way back to it. But what do they get out of that? Again, some of these ultimates used up, battle spells. E7 still wants to show up for this. Potentially, they might just get punished here, though, if they do.
Everything that could have gone wrong in the early game has gone wrong for Entity 7, and I think that as much as it feels soul-crushing for Hydon Bush, it's one of those games that you wish, like, all right, it's a GG, go next. I understand that we're going to have to play through the lower side, but this is really, really rough. And I think the only few mistakes that Onic can make, it's difficult for Kyrie, because at this stage, he's got enough cooldowns to get his iframes back up before the killing blow actually comes through. I think it's got to be down to like just Sans and Kelra who need to give away these kills, particularly Kelra.
And I don't know if that's going to happen, man.
He usually doesn't do that.
It's usually not the case, but even if it was the case, Entity 7 just doesn't have the firepower. I feel like they almost have to expend too much for them to cap out a kill on an overstep that most likely won't happen from Kelra. Now for Onic, with this Lord marching towards the base, the 14,000 gold too is even bigger than the Lord right now. Lutfi up again, leading the charge. There you go again. Just Shin deleted off the map here. 2 base turrets down. Onic looking to cap it out here under the 12-minute mark once again. One more desperate attempt here from E7, but they'll just lock it down and come in cleaning as Onic comes in to clean up the series in a sweep against Entity 7.
An absolute massacre, a murder here.